You ever buy yourself a slice of peace, only to realize you just paid for the front row seat in a war you never asked for? That's what happened the day I moved into my forever cabin by the lake. Yeah, the one with the chipped paint and the dock hanging on for dear life. I looked at that place, and I saw freedom. Man. Not just property, not just an address, but the kind of blank canvas that people like me, who've spent too long under fluorescent lights and city sirens, dream about, you know what I mean? Out here. It was just me, the water, and a silence that felt like an old friend, until it wasn't. I'm talking 3 days into my little rural Arkansas fairy tale. I'm setting up tools, sweating through my shirt, and here comes this Lexus, white as a dentist's coat, crawling up my drive like it owns the dirt. Door pops open, and out steps this woman. All lavender pantsuit and shoes that cost more than my truck's tires, staring at my muddy boots like I tracked in the plague. Mr. Holston, I presume? She doesn't wait for an answer. Just hits me with the handshake like she's running for mayor. I don't take it. I'm Gretchen Morrow, President, Lakeshore Community Association. Her smile's the kind that makes you check your wallet. But recently revived. You're under our purview. And I can't help it. I start laughing. Like, really laughing. I did my research, lady kind. But she stands there, unbothered. Except people like Gretchen, they got a built-in setting that just won't go away for an answer. So first it's letters, complaints about my grass, renovation hours, my dock, violating the view. Fines, threats, dues I supposedly owed. I ignore them. I figure, maybe they'll get bored. Nah, it escalates. Saturday, I come home. 2 guys in neon vests are dismantling my dock, just tossing boards into the lake like they're skipping stones. I storm out, ask who sent them, and one just shrugs. Work order from the association. That dock's on my deed. Take it up with the board, he says, and I swear, I almost saw him wink. So I do the only thing left. I grab my crowbar, finish tearing down the damn dock myself. Splinters flying everywhere, just so they can't say it's a hazard. The workers look at me like I'm out of my mind. But hey, sometimes you gotta show 'em crazy. That's when I get serious. Security cameras everywhere, driveway, porch, dock, even a couple in the trees for good measure. Next morning, I wake up to find my yard looking like a landfill. Old tires, busted chairs, insulation. Drive to the LCA office, big brick monstrosity with a fountain, and dump the whole mess right at their door, blocking the entrance. Tell Gretchen she forgot her donation. I call out and peel off. Then comes the final notice, 10 pages of threats, back dues, fake legalese, all zip-tied to my mailbox. $3,000, or they put a lien on the property. Then Gretchen calls, voice dripping with honey and battery acid. You're making this harder than it needs to be, Mr. Holston. Think carefully. It'd be a shame if something happened to your property. I hang up. But not before deciding I'm done playing defense. More cameras, motion sensors, trail cams in the woods, audio alarms, you name it, I rig it. 3 nights later, here they come again, 2 figures. She shows up. No Lexus, no army, just her and a leather folder. Why are we fighting? She says, trying for sweet. She offers to waive the fines if I join. We value harmony here, she says, sliding me a list of rules that'd make the DMV blush. This is extortion, I say. I call it cooperation. That's when I invite her in, let her think she's won, then hit play on my phone. Her voice crystal clear, promising to make the fines disappear if I join up. Her face drops like a brick. You recorded me? You bet. Local news'll love this. She storms out, angrier than a cat in a bathtub. That night, it's all or nothing. 3 of them show up, 2 goons and Gretchen, waiting outside like the worst mob movie you ever saw. They pick the lock. Gets doused in white primer. The other slips and face plants into my kitchen table. I'm waiting with a bat, but honestly, it's over before it starts. You boys having fun? I say. And they're stumbling over each other to get out. Gretchen whispers at the door. What's taking so long? One goon bursts out, covered in paint, slips on the porch, goes down hard. I flip on the light, toss some zip ties. Nice try, but you forgot I'm always one step ahead. That's when the cops roll up, lights blazing. Gretchen tries to sweet-talk them. Officers, this is a misunderstanding. I just point to the cameras. They watch the footage, arrest all three. Gretchen's last words. I was just trying to protect the community. Yeah, sure. After that, it was like someone dropped a bomb on the LCA. News trucks, lawsuits, Gretchen barred from ever leading anything in the county again. Turns out, I wasn't the only one. Neighbors started coming out of the woodwork, people who'd been bullied or ripped off. And with my evidence, the whole rotten board collapsed. Association dissolved. And me? I rebuilt my dock, painted the cabin, sat out front with a cold beer, watching the sun bounce off the water like it owed me an apology. Folks stopped by, not to complain, but to thank me. You took down a tyrant, one guy said, handing me a pie. I told him, don't nominate me for anything. And look, maybe you're thinking, that would never happen in my neighborhood. But hey, think again. What would you do in my shoes? Roll over or fight back? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear your wildest HOA stories. Because nobody should have to fight this battle alone. Like mud on your boots after a good rain. For a while, the air felt different, lighter somehow. The neighborhood seemed to exhale, people waving as they drove by. Even the cranky old guy 2 doors down who'd never so much as grunted at me before brought over his dog and let it run wild in my yard, just so he could say thanks for dealing with the witch. The local bakery left a box of donuts on my porch with a note that said, for the hero we didn't know we had. Yeah, felt good for a minute. But you ever get the feeling something's brewing? Even when things are quiet. Like when you're out on the dock, staring at the water, and the wind suddenly dies, birds go silent, and you just know, storm's coming. That's how it was about a month after the dust settled. Started small, almost laughable, a string of anonymous letters in my mailbox, each one nastier than the last. Hope you're happy, traitor. You'll regret crossing us. And then one with nothing but a picture of my house, circled in red marker. You can call me paranoid, but in my world, there's no such thing as coincidence. That same week, a stranger showed up at my dock, early morning, just before sunrise. He looked rough, like he hadn't slept in days. Wild eyes, twitchy hands. Said his name was Blake. Told me he used to serve on the LCA board, back before Gretchen, before the rot set in. You think you ended it, he said, his voice shaking. But there's more. Money went missing, a lot of it. Dues. Fines gone. And Gretchen wasn't working alone. I wanted to laugh it off, honestly, but the guy looked spooked for real. He warned me to keep my head down. Said some of the old guard weren't happy about how things ended. They got friends, man. The kind you don't want knocking at your door. I thanked him, even offered him coffee. But he shook his head and vanished back into the trees like a ghost. That should have been my cue to pack it up and move. But I guess I'm too stubborn, or too tired, to let go of something I fought this hard for. So I dug in. If they wanted a war, they were going to get one, but on my terms. For the next week, weird things kept happening. Power flickered at odd hours. Security cameras tripped with nothing on the footage but a shadow darting by, never clear enough to make out a face. I'd find muddy footprints on my porch, muddy handprints on my windows, like someone just wanted me to know they'd been there. Then one night, I'm jolted awake by the sound of shattering glass. Someone thrown a brick through my front window. Wrapped around it, another note. This isn't over. I called the cops, of course. But all I got was another shrug, another neighborly dispute, report to file away with the rest. A few days later, there was a knock at the door. This time, it's Deputy Reynolds. About property flipping and intimidation all up and down the lake for years. You rattled a lot of cages, friend, he said, half smiling, half worried. But folks are starting to talk. Truth has a way of leaking out, even in a place like this. That's when the twist hit. A letter arrived, certified mail, not anonymous this time, but from a law firm in Little Rock. Turns out, a group of former LCA members was suing me. Yeah, you heard right, for damages to the community, claiming my actions cost them thousands in lost revenue. The gall of these people, right? But it gets better. The new interim board wanted to mediate, offering a settlement if I'd just apologize, pay a few thousand, and sign a non-disclosure agreement. Part just exhausted. But I remembered something Gretchen said that night she got arrested, whispering as they led her away. You think you've won, but the lake never forgets. At the time, I thought it was just more drama, but now, it was like a bad omen. So, I did the only thing I know how, stood my ground. Called their bluff, went public again, posted the letters online. Showed my footage to the news crew that still had me on speed dial. Within a week, more neighbors spoke up, people from the next town over who'd had the same thing happen. I even got a handwritten note from Blake. Said, "Nice job. You didn't flinch." Didn't say where he was headed, just wished me luck. Now, the lake is finally quiet, at least for now. I rebuilt that window, replaced the porch boards, put out a new welcome mat. Neighbors still swing by, but this time they bring stories, not threats. Some bring pie, some bring gossip. It's that peace out here isn't just something you find. It's something you fight for, every day, with both hands. So, if you're listening and you ever get that urge to stand up for what's right, just know, it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. And if you've ever tangled with a crooked board, a corrupt system, or just a bully with too much power, I want to hear your story. Drop your wildest neighborhood battle in the comments. Tell me how you handled it, or if you wish you'd done more. Because out here, the fight for peace is never really over. It just gets quieter. So what do you think? Is peace something you wait for, or something you make? Let me know. I'll be here, cold beer in hand, watching the sun set, ready for whatever tomorrow brings.